We now offer our own version of March Madness, the musings and meditations on the world of sports. Granted, predicting the Vancouver Canucks' future machinations is an inexact science at best, but just for fun, take out a pencil and sketch out the team's forward lines for next season. We're going to make a couple of assumptions with our group. We have the Sedins coming back for another year. We've also given one spot to Adam Gaudette, which leaves us with 9 vacancies. Now watch how fast the roster fills up. Bo Horvat and Brock Besser are mortal locks. The contracts of Brandon Sutter, Sam Gagner and Louis Eriksson pretty much guarantees them places. That leaves us with 4 spots. Right now, Sven Baertschi gets 1. We're also going to write in Jake Vernon, who has made significant strides over the last half of this NHL season, and Brendan Leipzig, who would have to clear waivers to be sent to Utica, and why that leaves us with 1 position to fill. And here's a list of the candidates: Elias Peterson, Darren Archibald, Tyler Mott, Marcus Granlund, Nikolai Goldobin, Brendan Gowns, Nick Dowd, Reed Boucher, Zach Masewin, Cole Lind, Jonathan Dahlen and Jonah Gadjovich. This means a couple of things, not the least of which is the all-farm team in Utica might be more interesting to watch next season than the squad in Vancouver. But the larger point is all those boss puts some pressure on GM Jim Benning to make the kind of moves he's been either unwilling or unable to make in his 4 years, trading roster players for draft picks. True, you can argue about the market value of a lot of those players. But the Canucks can't go into next season with 10 to 12 forwards in their system who have legitimate NHL aspirations, and that doesn't account for the free agents they've said they'll go after. There may not be room for Marcus Granlund on the Canucks roster next season. Bruce Bennett, Getty Images. The Canucks have to prioritize. They have to identify the players they'll feature and the ones who are expendable. And we need not remind you of the table stakes involved with each decision. The problem is the Benning-Trevor Linden administration's track record in these matters doesn't exactly fill the faithful with confidence. Granlund, a 19-goal scorer 2 seasons ago, has been devalued. You can make a similar case for Goldobin. Based on this season, Archibald merits consideration for regular employment, but do you slot him in ahead of a younger player? We know Travis Green has a soft spot for Gowns. Peterson, meanwhile, is a subject unto himself, but Benning has stated if a young player shows he's ready, he'll play. The point is the Canucks can't have this mass of humanity clogging up the pipeline to the NHL club. They face a number of decisions this off-season, decisions that are crucial to the development of their young players and their team. If they're going to dig themselves out of 28th place, they have to start getting those decisions right. Derek Pouliot checks New York Rangers' John Gilmour during the first period on February 28, 2018. Daryl Dike, the Canadian Press. On a related note, if you were going to blue sky the Canucks' current NHL lineup, there are 2 players who make you wonder, what if? Vernon, of course, is one of them, and everyone can see there is a top 6 power forward in there somewhere. The question is, will he ever come out? The other player, Derek Pouliot, is a different case, but there's also something in the 24-year-old defenseman that is tantalizing. He has the necessary and vision to be a top 4D man. But some combination of conditioning, strength and competitiveness is holding him back. The Leafs sent West Van's Morgan Rielly was taken 3 spots ahead of Pouliot in the 2012 NHL entry draft and has evolved into a top-pairing blue liner. They're similar in stature. Their numbers were similar in junior. The difference is Rielly has evolved physically to the point where he can exploit his bountiful SS. You can catch glimpses of the same ability with Pouliot, but until he adds some power and escapability to his game, that's all you'll see. It's up to him, and he'll get the chance to prove himself with the Canucks. It would change a lot of things if he can make that next step. Mad props to Ty Ronning for signing an entry-level deal with the New York Rangers on Monday. Ronning, by his own admission, wanted to play with the Rangers all-affiliate in Hartford this season, but instead of sulking when he was returned to the WHL Vancouver Giants, he set a franchise record with 55 goals and counting this season. Ty Ronning celebrates a Vancouver Giants goal. Rick Fedek via the contract was the reward for his perseverance. Again, the similarities between Ty and his father Cliff, the former Canuck, are striking, but his Giants GM Glenn Hanlon said, it's that pitbull mentality that sets them apart. In today's NHL there's a place for a player of Ty Ronning's and size. He's 5'9" and weighs 170 pounds. You'd bet on him finding that place. There are a couple of takeaways from Ederbay's work in free agency this CFL offseason, but the one that sticks out concerns the restructuring of the Lions front office. With a free hand in player personnel, the Leos' new GM was able to make the kind of aggressive moves Wally Buono would seldom make when he was the head coach and GM. Buono, to be sure, would generally sign a couple of players to strengthen the club, but he never adequately addressed the holes on the offensive and defensive lines over the last 5 years. In one off-season, Hervé went all in those two areas. You can find S players in the CFL. It's a lot harder to find offensive linemen and pass rushers. Heading into this season, the Lions have improved